Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Vanessa and I love to talk about books. I'm here sans makeup today because I've been working. It's now 8 o'clock, I've just finished, and we have a lot of books to talk about, and there's no time like the present. If I stopped to do my makeup, it would be like midnight before getting this video up, and I just wanted to share with you what I was planning to read in June. June actually should have been a very quiet reading month for me because I was supposed to get married in June, which is now obviously not happening. So I've set myself quite an ambitious goal for the month of June as far as my TBR is concerned, because I did read about 11 books this month and I thought that it was really doable even with all the work that I was doing. Work is expecting to pick up next month, but I still feel like there's more that I could be reading. Some of the books that I've picked out for the month of June I'm actually really surprised by, because quite a lot of them were featured on a couple of videos ago, which were books that I was nervous to read. But I'm now feeling like, you know, I want to get around to reading them and see what I think of them. I'm more curious than anything. May was such a good reading month for me. It was genuinely one of the best reading months I've ever had, and that was something that I anticipated going in. I looked, when I was choosing my TBR for the month of May, I looked at all the books that I really wanted to get around to reading the most, because I was just sick of reading things that I wasn't enjoying and wanted to cheer myself up with books, and that did happen. So I feel like this month I'm ready for some surprises. So the first book on my TBR for June is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Apologies for the shininess. It's 8 o'clock at night and the lighting isn't great. Six of Crows is part of a duology which is part of the Grisha universe, and I've said this multiple times, I didn't enjoy Shadow and Bone. I just don't get the Trisha I don't get the Grisha universe. I just don't understand it. So I'm going to try this one because, like I said in my books I'm nervous to read video, I feel like this has got a little bit more meat on it. This might give me what I want, and the premise sounds really interesting. It's about a criminal gang who are trying to pull off a heist. And that's set in a fantasy world. I'm very interested to see how that would pan out. So I'm going to give Six of Crows a go. Another book straight off my books I'm nervous to read is The Final Empire, which is book 1 in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. If you watched that video, you'll know I just could not get this out of the box, so I had to break the box to get into it, but it was totally worth it. I have actually started reading this about 4 years ago, and this is how far I got into it. I got to page 184, but I put it down and I just couldn't pick it back up because I wasn't really enjoying it. What I remember of this being my reading experience was that I just didn't understand what was going on. I don't know if it maybe was because I didn't feel like I wanted to read a fantasy at the time, but now I do, so I'm more willing to put the effort into really trying to retain the information, because this is quite a complicated high fantasy book. If I remember rightly, it's got something to do with magic being related to metals and elemancy. But I remember just finding it really hard to retain the character information about who is who, how they relate to each other, and who their personalities are. And I think that was the concept that I struggled with more than anything, was learning about the universe. I didn't feel like it was very drip fed, and I really struggled to just pick it up, and I just couldn't be bothered at the time. So I'm going to give this another go. If I'm not enjoying it up to the page where I was the last time, I will just put it down and just call that series off. Which I really don't want to do, because I've heard really good things about The Way of Kings, and this is part of The Way of Kings universe, so I'd like to avoid that if possible, but I am willing to just give this a hard mess. Next is, and this will be no surprise to anyone, I want to reread the entire Percy Jackson series. I actually have only read the first 3. I've never read 4 and 5 because I just buy these purely second-hand because they're so common in second-hand stores. But I had to wait a while to find books 4 and 5. But now that I have them, I read the rest of the Percy Jackson series quite a while ago, and with the new TV show coming out, I wanted a refresher on the entire series in anticipation for the show coming out, so that I could comment on it with a fresh mind. So I am going to reread books 1, 2 and 3 and then go straight into 4 and 5. If I do really get through these really quick and enjoy them, I'm hoping that I might be able to squeeze the next series in, the Percy Jackson spin-off, which is Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Boy. I do have all 5 of these books, but I have lost one, and I think it's book 2 that I've lost. So if that's the case, I'll just be reading book 1. I came to Percy Jackson really late in life. I read the first book when I was about 23 or 24, but once I actually started reading it, I didn't stop reading it until I was finished. I didn't eat, I didn't go to the toilet, I just sat and I read the whole thing, and it totally blew me away. It was like reading Harry Potter for the first time when I was a child, and all this nostalgia came back about fantasy and magic and friendships and fighting evil with your friends. If you were a fan of Harry Potter as a child and haven't read this because you think as an adult you're not going to enjoy it, please pick it up because it is so nostalgic. I also really love the Greek mythology take on it. I think it's really well done. I think it's really smart, really clever, and the characters are really likeable. I knew at some point that I would reread this series, and I think now is a great time to reread it. I do know that there is a Percy Jackson themed readathon going on in the month of June, which I did plan on taking part in. However, I don't want to read books that I could use prompts for. I just want to reread the series, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be taking part in that readathon just because I want to try and get through as many of the Rick Riordan and Percy Jackson books as I can. Next we have a crime book which is Born in a Burial Gown by M.W. Craven. M.W. Craven you've probably heard about in most of the videos on this channel. I absolutely love this crime author. He's most well known for his Washington Post series, which is The Puppet Show, Black Summer, and now The Curator, which is coming out in a couple of weeks' time. But this is his debut novel and it's part of a duology. This is not a Washington Post series, this is a detective inspector called Avison Fluke. But it is still set in Cumbria, which I really like because I'm from the northeast and I just like to see some northeast, northwest support in literature. I did read The Curator this month as an ARC, which I'm really pleased that I got, and I really enjoyed it. It's still cemented that this author is my favourite crime author of all time, and I'm really excited to start reading this one, which is his debut novel, to see how it compares to the Washington Post series. And the last book is sort of like the book of the month, we're gonna say. If you remember this month, I read Crescent City and I'd done a reading vlog / review of it. And the format worked really well. So basically what I did was I made a review video as I would normally do, but I interlaced vlog footage throughout the review. So it was sort of like a review and a reading vlog at the same time. I spent a lot of time making it and producing it, and I was really happy with the outcome, and I thought it was really entertaining. So I wanted to do something like that again with another book, and I thought what better book to do it with than The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Again, if you've seen my books that I'm nervous to read video, you'll know that I really didn't like The Night Circus, and I genuinely didn't think that I'd read anything by this author ever again. However, the cover did get me very curious, and I added this to my Amazon wishlist, and my best friend Rebecca, who is from Rebecca Reads, you'll see her in the featured channels part on the home screen of my YouTube channel. She did buy me this book off my Amazon wishlist, which I'm very grateful for, and thank you very much. If this book didn't have a cover as nice as this, I don't think I'd be tempted to read it, and I know that's so vain, but at least I'm owning up to how bad I am as a reader. But the cover does get me excited, but I'm just worried about the actual words that are in the book. I don't know what it was about The Night Circus that I genuinely didn't enjoy at all. I read it when it first came out, so I had no sort of expectation for it either, even though it was so hyped up afterwards. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the atmosphere, I didn't like the characters, the writing. It was one of the worst books that I'd ever read. I found no enjoyment in it at all, and I sort of took it that that was going to be the writing style, which is why I didn't want to read anything else by this author. But I am totally open-minded. We've drawn a line under The Night Circus. I'm ready to try and go into this one and hopefully get a positive experience. From what I understand of this book, it's an adult fantasy where a man comes across sort of like a puzzle in a book in a library, and it opens up magical worlds and doorways for him, which sort of gives me The Night Circus vibes, because from what I remember from that, there was like magical tents like for a circus, and that every tent had something different about it. So this gives me a little bit of nerves, but maybe as an adult I'll just enjoy it a bit more. So what I'm hoping to do with this book, which is what I did with Crescent City, is to make a review video with interlaced with sort of reactions to as things are happening in the book. If all goes to plan, hopefully in my reactions I'll be happy and entertained by what I'm reading, but if it all goes wrong, it could just be a reading vlog of me just like sitting in bed, just just really not amused. So we'll see how that goes. So that's actually quite a lot of books when you consider the Percy Jackson books are 5 books. It's one... I just damaged my Starless Sea cover. Okay, you know, that's still 9 books. That's a lot of books to be reading in 1 month, and I do have obligations to read some arcs for books that are coming out in June and July. So I will also be reading stuff on my Kindle as well. Yeah, it's a lot. Maybe I was a little bit too ambitious. No, I can do it. I can definitely do it. I will have my May wrap up soon, but before that I'll be uploading a video this weekend. If not, I'll be doing a live stream on Saturday. I just can't figure out what format I want it to be. I don't know what format I want to do this in. Essentially, Saturday would have been my hen party. So what my plan is to order a pizza, get a bottle of gin, and play some hen party games, but like Booktube style. We're going to be having Booktube's first ever hen party. I'll make a decision tomorrow, but it would help if you leave me a comment and tell me what sort of style you want to see. Do you want to see a edited video that's been produced, or do you want a live stream? But my issue with live streams is this was supposed to be my hen party, so if nobody turns up I'm going to take it really sadly. But if enough of you are saying, look, I will be there, we're going to play some games, then I'll throw a live stream hen party. Keep an eye on my Twitter account, because my Twitter account will just be full of things that I'm planning and ways that you can get involved as well. And that's it for me. I'm going to go edit this video, upload it, and then go to bed finally. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at the weekend for a hen party, and then next week for my May wrap up, which I've got so much to talk about, so many 5-star books to talk about, and a lot of arcs as well, which are coming out in the next couple of weeks, which I know you're going to be hyped for. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.